Is it 2 years ago we met or 1 year ago, Gary Barve?
I think we met a long time back. Joe Thomas, it's a great honor for me to be with you on air again. And for me, it's always, my friend, the Joe Thomas Show.
That's right. Gary Barve has been running for president for about a year and a half now, in 2028, obviously. And the first question I asked him, I said, well, what about J.D. Vance? And you have qualms. And in the years since last CPAC, more of my listeners have been like, I don't know if J.D. Vance is the guy.
Well, I think your listeners are completely right on that. I've politically decimated J.D. Vance. I call him doofus, docile cheeks, beta male. And by the way, I've added to that list. I call him now J.D. Vamp. Right, and he's got no talent from the perspective of being a 2028 presidential election candidate. But let me, Joe Thomas, do you mind if I quickly introduce myself to your great viewers and listeners, my friend?
Go ahead.
All right, my name is Gary Barve. I am officially running for president of the United States of America in the 2028 election. A Republican supporter of the greatest and the most powerful country in the world, the United States of America. And as a believer in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, and my campaign's off to a fantastic start, Joe, as you know. And I just want to give you a couple of quick updates on my campaign, if that's okay with you, my friend.
Yeah, go ahead, catch us up.
So, as you know, and as...
Well, where do people visit you online? I always forget, I bury the lead.
Well, you can just do an internet search, Gary Barve, but my website is GaryBarveForAmerica.com. It's not completely up to date at this point, but many of my interviews are on there. My YouTube page have a lot of interviews as well. By the way, I just want to say this, Joe, congratulations. There are about, at least lowballing it, 2 million people listening in live right now to your awesome show. Great honor for me to interview with you, my friend.
Well, don't bore them, okay? Because they got stuff to do. It's mornings.
All right. So let me say this. I have been as many of your viewers and listeners already know, I have for the previous about, long time since the 2020 election, I have been a loyal supporter, or was a loyal supporter of Donald J. Trump. But over the last few weeks, I have gone politically against Donald J. Trump, and there are many, many reasons for this, my friend Joe. Remember this, I'll cover it real quick. I'll encourage people to look at the PAA podcast interview that I did, where a long-form live interview explained exactly my rationale for this. Let me say this real quick in the next minute and a half, my friend. So Donald Trump has met me only once in the last 3.5 years. That is 3.5 years back, December 2nd, 2022, 10 to 15 second meeting. And I have, believe it or not, and I know we have a 5-minute interview, so I'm going to cover it quick. I have been hit by cars in the last three times, 3 car accidents. 2 of them have been rear-ended. I have, literally been completely ignored by Donald J. Trump. And I'm just paraphrasing right now, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at my website. Take a look at my YouTube, the PAA podcast, that interview that I did.
Well,
from the perspective of policy, let me quickly say this, my friend Joe. One quick last statement, all right, my friend? In my opinion, I can give you point after point after point, depending upon how much time we have. The Donald Trump administration right now is, in my opinion, not an America First administration. In my opinion, it is the America Last administration.
Is this about Iran?
That's one of the things that we can talk about. Look, Joe, let me say this. You love the American people, right? I know
absolutely.
You love the American people.
I'm one of them. I certainly love myself.
Dude, my friend, you're the definition of grassroots American patriotism, in my opinion. Now, let me say this. Tariffs, right? You want to talk about tariffs? We'll talk about the Iran war as well. I feel the Iran war, since you brought up that topic, my friend, from the perspective of the Iran war, it is not America's war. It is Israel's war. But I can give you a lot of rationale for this. But let me talk about tariffs a little bit, because it's literally...
Okay, I don't want to leave that because the Iran war has been going on for 47 years. This is President Trump trying to end a war that has killed hundreds of thousands of American soldiers and has put us under threat all across the Middle East, and has dominated foreign policy. And every time somebody talks about the state sponsors of terrorism, they should be talking about Iran, and we've never gone after, because they just keep handing out money to.
Let me say this, my friend. The nuclear arsenal that was destroyed about 6 to 7 months back, I support that. That's fantastic. Okay? Now, this Iran war in particular that started a couple of weeks back approximately is, in my opinion, Israel's war, and I can give you rationale for it if you give me like 5 minutes more on the
Well,
interview.
like I said,
would
we've got news
definitively
coming
say
up
to
here.
right.
Go ahead.
All right, so let me say this. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Go to the tariff situation again, right?
Okay.
Donald Trump has been, as you know, Joe, Donald Trump has been going about town telling people that he has brought in 19 trillion with the T dollars from other countries in the form of tariffs and other revenues. The reality is this. Of the $19 trillion, only $250 billion, billion with a B, which is a lot of money, but only 1.5% of the $19 trillion has actually realized into the United States of America government. And let me say this, my friend. How much money from that tariff money, the $250 billion that has come into the government of the United States of America, has actually gone back to the hardworking, patriotic, exceptional American people?
Well,
I'll give you the answer right now. It's just about $0. The Donald Trump government is sitting on it.
Well,
while the American people struggle to pay rent, while the American people struggle to put food on the table for their friends and families, Donald Trump, a billionaire, and I have nothing against his billionaire status, is sitting on that money. The American people are struggling. Why is the money not going back to the American people, my friend? Joe, answer the question for me.
Well, first off, and when President Trump talked about the tariff rebates and all that other stuff, I said that's not what tariffs do, because he's giving in to the leftist view that a tariff is just some collection of money. Tariffs are about evening playing fields and making sure that countries that don't have the same human rights standards that we do are undercutting our American businesses, but it's not about creating a war chest full of money.
Look, let me say this, Joe. I completely respect your viewpoint. I know exactly how tariffs work. See my point? I'm against socialism. I hate socialism. This is not taxpayer money. This is money. Tariff money is the money that's coming from other countries. Look, let me say this. I'm a supporter of tariffs, but it's a tremendous weapon for our country, a tremendous tool for our country. When I'm president, I would love to impose tariffs on other countries the right way, but the reality is I support tariffs because I want a large percentage of the tariff money that comes into the government of the United States of America to go back to the American people.
Yeah, but it does.
Dude, my friend, let me say this. The people are suffering the burden of the tariff, but they're not seeing the upside now.
But tariff is not about getting money transferred. Tariffs are about making sure the economy is balanced with the rest of the world.
Economy, right?
And so the American citizen, the benefits from tariffs are the ones who get a job because it hasn't been offshored to Vietnam or someplace where people are working for $1.380 a week.
Point, my friend.
That's where the money is. It's not coming in. That's why when President Trump said that I cringed when he said that.
Joe, let me say this.
10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds. Let me say this. I agree that tariffs has other positives as well, but answer the question, why has Donald Trump not given out a large percentage of that $250 billion to the American people?
Because it was never, it's not a,
the downside.
it's not a bank of money.
Joe,
yes.
my friend, the American people are seeing the downside of tariffs. Why not the upside?
No, that's not how tariffs work, and he shouldn't have laid it out there. Gary
Did you know that healthy arteries